Malaysia berhadapan dengan cabaran dan isu berkaitan kesihatan, sosial, ekonomi dan budaya yang mempengaruhi taraf kesihatan rakyat dan kesan langsung kepada produktiviti negara. Tingkah laku rakyat yang kurang memberi perhatian kepada amalan cara hidup sihat telah mendatangkan risiko kepada masalah kesihatan. Melalui tinjauan kesihatan dan morbiditi kebangsaan 2019, mendapati 50.1% berlebihan berat badan atau obes, 25.1% tidak aktif fizikal, 21.3% orang dewasa adalah perokok dan 2.3% mengalami kemurungan. Kerajaan meletakkan taraf kesihatan rakyat sebagai keutamaan dengan memperkenalkan Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat ANMS dengan iktizam menjadikan rakyat Malaysia sihat seiring dengan pembangunan negara. ANMS menjadikan Health in All Policy sebagai keutamaan dengan menggunakan pendekatan whole of government and whole of society melalui penglibatan semua kementerian, agensi kerajaan, swasta, badan bukan kerajaan NGO dan komuniti. ANMS telah diluluskan dalam mesyuarat Jemaah Menteri pada 7 Ogos 2020. Bagi memastikan pelaksanaannya, pelbagai pendekatan dan strategi digunakan bagi memperkukuhkan amalan cara hidup sihat, membudayakan norma baharu, kesejahteraan mental dan fizikal rakyat. ANMS disokong dengan 4 teras. Teras 1, memantapkan promosi pembudayaan hidup sihat. Teras 2, memantapkan perkhidmatan kesejahteraan kesihatan, wellness. Teras 3, memperkasakan kawalan kesihatan kendiri. Dan teras 4, memantapkan kebersihan persekitaran. ANMS dimanfaatkan oleh seluruh rakyat Malaysia dengan mengamalkan cara hidup sihat, kebersihan diri, perlindungan diri dan kebersihan persekitaran untuk meningkatkan tahap kesihatan, seterusnya berupaya mengurangkan perbelanjaan kerajaan kepada kos pencegahan dan rawatan. Menjelang 2030, taraf kesihatan rakyat dapat dipertingkatkan seiring dengan matlamat Good Health dan Wellbeing dalam Sustainable Development Goal SDG bagi membolehkan rakyat menyumbang kepada pembangunan negara.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam Malaysia Madani. Tuan-tuan dan perempuan, Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat atau ANMS merupakan satu pendekatan oleh kerajaan yang mahu membawa rakyat ke arah pembudayaan hidup sihat. Carilah ruang dan peluang untuk melakukan saringan kesihatan, melakukan aktiviti fizikal, mengamalkan pengambilan makanan yang sihat dan selamat, menjaga kebersihan diri dan juga persekitaran, seterusnya mengubah tingkah laku ke arah kesihatan yang lebih baik. Ayuh kita sama-sama mengamalkan dan semarakkan pembudayaan hidup sihat demi kesejahteraan rakyat Malaysia. Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat atau ANMS bermatlamat menjadikan rakyat Malaysia sihat sejahtera melalui Teras 1, promosi pembudayaan hidup sihat. Memupuk budaya hidup sihat dengan meningkatkan literasi kesihatan rakyat. Teras 2, perkhidmatan kesejahteraan kesihatan. Memudahkan rakyat akses kepada fasiliti dan perkhidmatan kesejahteraan kesihatan. Teras 3, kawalan kesihatan kendiri. Rakyat diperkasa dalam penjagaan kesihatan kendiri untuk pencegahan penyakit. Teras 4, kebersihan persekitaran. Memupuk budaya kebersihan persekitaran untuk kesejahteraan kesihatan rakyat. Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat, sihat sepanjang hayat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada semua rakyat Malaysia. Saya percaya bahawa usaha pembudayaan hidup sihat adalah satu pelaburan jangka panjang dalam kesejahteraan masyarakat dan kelestarian negara kita. Dalam membantu hasrat kerajaan Malaysia Madani bagi melahirkan rakyat yang sihat, kementerian ini komited untuk bersama-sama menjayakan agenda nasional Malaysia Sihat dengan memastikan setiap pemain industri dan perusahaan sentiasa berada dalam keadaan sihat dan cergas, bijak menangani stres, tidak menghisap sama ada rokok atau vape, malah peka kepada kebersihan persekitaran. Ayuh, kita sama-sama mengamalkan dan semarakkan pembudayaan hidup sihat demi kesejahteraan rakyat Malaysia. Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat, sihat sepanjang hayat, Malaysia Madani.
Salam Malaysia Madani. Hai semua, apa khabar? Saya berpesan kepada semua supaya anda semua kekal aktif di tempat kerja dengan menghadkan penggunaan lift. Sebagai ganti, jom gunakan tangga kerana ia boleh menguatkan otot, tulang dan sendi. Tingkatkan keseimbangan tubuh badan anda. Saya juga menyarankan agar rakyat Malaysia menggunakan kemudahan pengangkutan awam yang secara tidak langsung dapat menjadikan diri kita aktif dengan bergerak ke destinasi anda. Ini dapat membantu anda mencapai 10,000 langkah sehari dan menjadikan anda lebih sihat serta cergas. Ingat tahu pesanan saya ni, ayuh kita sama-sama mengamalkan dan semarakkan pembudayaan hidup sihat demi kesejahteraan rakyat Malaysia. Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat. #Sihat sepanjang hayat.
Hai Malaysia.
Jom.
Sempena Bulan Malaysia Sihat Sejahtera. Ayuh aktifkan diri, cergaskan diri. Bersama-sama kita mulakan gerak sihat demi negara yang lebih sejahtera.
Salam perpaduan dan salam Malaysia Madani. Budaya hidup sihat dapat memperkukuhkan imuniti badan dan penting dalam pencegahan penyakit agar rakyat terus kekal sihat. Sentiasalah beringat bahawa penjagaan kesihatan adalah di tangan kita. Sebagai membantu Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia dengan pendekatan Whole of Government Approach dan melalui National Malaysia Sihat ANMS dalam memperkasa rakyat ke arah kesihatan yang lebih baik, saya mohon semua pihak sama-sama berganding bahu dalam memperhebatkan lagi usaha membantu rakyat untuk membudayakan hidup sihat. Ayuh kita sama-sama menyemarakkan lagi sambutan Bulan Malaysia Sihat Sejahtera BMSS 2024 sepanjang September ini demi kesihatan dan kesejahteraan rakyat Malaysia. Bulan Malaysia Sihat Sejahtera 2024.
Alah. Belakanglah sikit. Beri laluan, beri laluan. Gila. Terlepas lift ke? Penuh. Jom naik tangga. Aku rela tunggu lift. Healthy lifestyle, bro.
Hey Adam,
Fire in the hole. Fire in the
apa
hole.
masalah dengan kau ni Adam? Kau ni tak bermaya ni. Mata lebam-lebam, lesu je.
Tenang kan, sebulan naik gaji 3,000.
Hebat, bagus.
Dam, kau tak boleh macam ni dah. Kau kena aktif, cergas, fokus nak capai impian kau.
Yalah.
Okey
Alright, that's the spirit. And
Nak balik dah kan? Jom turun tangga.
jom.
Tiada alasan untuk kekal sihat. Aktif diri demi kesejahteraan kesihatan.
Right, salam sejahtera and very good morning to all KKM staff ataupun warga KKM yang bersama-sama kita pada pagi ini dalam satu live webinar session kita yang bertajuk The Impact of Digital Transformation in Malaysia's Healthcare. Sekali lagi bagi pihak unit digital dan teknologi bahagian pembangunan kompetensi, saya mengalu-alukan kehadiran warga KKM dalam sesi live webinar pada kali ini. But before we begin, saya ingin mengingatkan rakan-rakan sekalian untuk stay sampai habis kerana kita ada e-certificate. Dan kalau ada apa-apa persoalan sepanjang sesi kita pada hari ini, sila masukkan dalam comment box dan nanti kita akan cuba pick up dan kita akan cuba address the comments and questions accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to introduce our panelists, our VIP of the day, Dr. Ravi Ramadah, yang merupakan seorang medical officer from the Digital Health Research Institute, DHRI, under the Institute for Clinical Research, ICR. Doctor, welcome.
Okay, thank you. Very good morning to you.
Doctor, today the topic or the title of our webinar is the impact of digital transformation. Right. Many are familiar with the concept, or at least they think they are familiar with the concept. Right. So before we continue or talk further, would you like to share some background of what is digital transformation in healthcare means?
All right. So before we go into digital transformation, we need to understand what we meant about digital transformation within the healthcare sector. So we need to be familiar with the digital health term. So digital health means where we actually have combination of patient data, connectivity, computing power for the purpose of improving access and also more personalized care to, at the end of it, we need to improve the outcome at a lower cost. So that is basically, it's a big vast field which combines all of these things. And for specifically for digital transformation, there is multiple stage to the digital transformation. So we have to start with the first stage, which is we got digitizing. So digitizing is basically we are converting from manual or paper-based records or paper-based work process. We are converting just the documents into a digital form. So that is digitizing. When the next stage we are called as digitalizing. All right, digitalization. So digitalization is basically where we convert the paper-based workflow. The entire workflow is converted into a digital form. So meaning that we need to have work process which is completely done without paper. So paperless. I'm assuming a lot of people are familiar with the term of paperless. So that is digitalization, the second stage. And I think for KKM we can get into a stage where we can achieve a digital transformation where both the work process are in a digital form, and the mindset of people who are involved in the work process is also being accustomed into using this digital format. So their mindset is also changed as well, and they adapt into their daily practices or daily work. So that's what we can see.
Right. So I picked up a few terms. Number one, digitizing. You said something about digitizing. So that is, it's already been happening. All right. The second one is digitalization.
Yeah.
All right. And the third one is digital transformation. All right. So there are three things, ladies and gentlemen. Digitizing, digitalization, and digital transformation. So, according to Dr. Ravi just now, there are some rakan-rakan KKM which is in digitizing level. There are some in digitalization level and some in digital transformation level.
Yeah.
Why do you think digital transformation in healthcare particularly is important?
All right. So we need to go back to the health challenges which is present in the healthcare sectors, not just in Malaysia, in worldwide. So when we talking about sick care, all right. So the sick care, we have a whole spectrum of different stages of healthcare available. So it comes into from a healthy person into so it's basically most of the healthcare in the world currently are primarily focused on the early stage of chronic diseases and also the acute disease stage. So that's where the problem starts, because we know that based on current data that available, 80% of the healthcare cost is being cost by 20% of the population, which is in the the healthcare sectors. So that's why we need to move away from diagnosing the diseases into the preventive mode. All right. So now that is actually the first problem. So moving the healthcare to a preventive mode rather than the sick care, we are moving to the actual healthcare. The second problem is when we look at the world population, we know that our current world population is more into aging. There is an aging population, so basically more people are aging. That's the first problem. The second problem is we also have a low birth rates throughout the world, where what actually it means to healthcare is we have much lesser caregivers. All right, less people is actually been able to care for their older people. So it creates a lot of problems when it comes into chronic diseases, right? So they won't have any caregivers who will be able to cater for them, especially if it's involved in some cognitive diseases, for example, Alzheimer, dementia, all these things. So to address this increasing population, all these various level of complexity, we need something that can ingest all this data, can automate the process, and reduce the burden on top of the healthcare for workforce. So that is actually the primary cause why we need to look into digital transformation. Basically, the healthcare workforce as well as the patient, they adapt into a mindset where these extra tools, digital tools, is going to assist them into creating a more robust healthcare and more comprehensive. I also would like to quote this specific person, which is also coined as a father of biomedicine because he created the DNA sequencer. All right, so he is coined a term which is we call as 4Ps. So the healthcare currently need to be predictive, means that we can predict the basic outcome of a patient based on their genetic data, based on the social data. So they're supposed to be more predictive. It need to be personalized. All right, they need to also to be preventive. So and also it need to be more personalized care. All right, so this particular term, to achieve this, we need more tools. We need to have a more complex process. So that is the reason why we need to go into digital transformation worldwide.
All right, that's quite interesting. But I picked up one small word there, mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset change, ladies and gentlemen, mindset change. Doctor, I just want to ask you, in your observation, being in KKM and dwelling into this digital transformation field, what do you think, or where do you think we are? We means penjawat awam as a whole, or specifically warga KKM. Where are we right now in terms of mindset change or willingness to change mindset towards digital transformation?
All right. So if I can gather from my interaction with many KKM staff at various levels, from the ground to the to mid level and also the policy level, so there's a willingness to adapt or embrace this digital transformation. There is a willingness, but to understand the complexity, or when we come into the implementation process, that becomes more segregated groups. So some are willing to change their way of workflow. Some are still a bit reluctant because they are too used to the previous workflow. They're willing to adapt the tools, but they are not willing to change their workflow. They find it this certain initiative or certain tools are actually burdening them. So as we see in the field of transformation, whenever we are transforming from one particular workflow or mindset or one stage, all right, to another stage, definitely in the initial or beginning stage, we will have a lot of what we call a lot of difficulties, because we are moving from one stage that we will know everything about, we are implementing throughout our work life,
all right,
into something unknown territory. So that becomes a problem actually, if you ask me. So
all right, okay.
It's a bit mixed mindset actually.
Mixed mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, now just now I asked you about are we ready? Are we ready means kita lah warga KKM kan, are we ready? Now, on the other side, in terms of untuk prepare warga KKM into this digital transformation process or mindset, are we giving them enough platforms or opportunities to understand all this? What do you think?
All right. So there is still room for improvement, if you ask me. So like our webinar today is one form of way we can actually disseminate the knowledge and the information. So there should be more platform that actually discuss this kind of technology, how we can actually affect our healthcare services, especially the public healthcare sector as well. So we need to have more platforms on that. But we also need to understand, regardless there's a lot of tools available outside there, we also need to understand the complexity or the challenges of digital transformation within Malaysian context. So it needs more effort. If you ask me, we need more efforts on this disseminating the information and changing the mindset in general.
Okay, understand. So do you want to share with us the underlying principles of driving us, especially warga KKM, towards digital transformation? What we had and what are we following right now, and so on.
All right. So if I can start, we had come up with a previous plan strategic pendigitalan. This was coined a bit earlier. So when we look at this document, one of the interesting facts that we can look at this particular document is what type of what is the current landscape, what are the possible challenges into digitizing. So this particular plan strategy is moving us from the stage 1 and stage 2.
Okay.
All right. So
sorry, when you say moving us from stage 1 to stage 2, just for understanding, from digitizing into digitalization. Okay,
yes,
great.
exactly. So that we are focused on the earlier stage on it. So when we look at that document, we can find there is almost 300 plus individual system within KKM, right? So we have access to quite a number of systems, and it comprises a lot of different sectors. For example, we have for kawalan penyakit, we have the hospital management system, we have a pharmacy information system. There's multiple. We have 400 over systems available, all right? So it means that every system need to be coordinated and connected. That is the first problem, because we want to digitalize, all right? Pendigitalan is basically the workflow must be in digital form.
Okay.
So it only can be achieved when the whole of these systems are interconnected and the data can be transferred one point to another point, all right? Digitizing, which is the first process, there's no problem because we're just converting the paper base and we're just uploading the thing into the individual system. So there's no problem on that. But when we go to the second stage, where we need to have a continuous data flow through the systems, we need to achieve this 400 systems need to be talking to each other. That's the first problem. The second problem we have is the number of facility we have in KKM. So as we see in the slides, we have 1,557 facilities which available in KKM in various forms. So basically we have in bahagian level, we have in hospital, we have kesihatan.
Sorry again, doctor, what is this 1,557 again?
This is number of facilities at various level in KKM which using these systems.
Okay.
So like for example, we can see they have bahagian level, we have JKN level, we have as the clinic kesihatan level, we have as hospital level. So it's multiple level of facilities with different level of infrastructures, different system available to these infrastructures, and all of these need to come to a common place where they can actually move the data across them. So that's when we actually genuinely achieve the second stage.
Okay.
Before we start talking about the transformation part.
Okay.
So so this is what we coined in 2021 to 2025.
Okay.
All right. So in between this, we also managed to come up with another ecosystem to achieve this particular target. We came up with another ecosystem. So this ecosystem is more to patient centric.
Okay.
So basically, we do not think the healthcare system should be the target. It's more to the patient centric. How we're going to achieve this particular thing. So we are talking about interoperability. We are talking about innovations. We are trying to come up with a large what we call diagram of framework. All right. So how the data is the layers in the below, and then subsequently we have multiple things in the above, including especially the interoperabilities, which translate into one patient, one health record. So that's how it translates into why a single patient need to have a single medical record which can be seen throughout this particular system, the public system and also the private system. Right. So the last part, we also do a lot of things on the research and innovation part. That's actually what DHRI unit does under the clinical research. We look into innovations. We still work on what is the new latest tools or latest techniques or latest innovations available across the world, and also especially in Malaysia, how to incorporate into this connectedness, the second stage of these things. Right. So yeah. So as we see in the slide, I think this is what we are targeting currently. This is what we are doing now. So for as a overlay that we say, we are moving towards one patient, one record, but there's a lot of structures within this particular work. So these are some of the things that we are trying to do currently.
Okay.
Right? So I think if we can achieve this would be a very base level of future digital transformation. And I think digital transformation within Malaysia, within KKM, is achieved in certain parts. For example, I can give you an example of MySejahtera, for example, during COVID-19. I think last time previously when we were talking about quarantine, it is done at the PKD level. They need to sign off a quarantine order, paper-based, all right? So subsequently, the forms are being done, printed online and everything, they're given, all right? So, but that is still in stage 1. All right, there's no stage 2 as well, digitalized. It's not there. All right. Then when the COVID came about, there was a lot of innovation was done, and subsequently we have MySejahtera, where the entire work process, patients being informed they are positive, and subsequently they are being notified, and the quarantine order is automatically being generated in the system, and it is being accepted in their workplace or any other places, that the digital quarantine orders are being accepted in other factors. So this is example in specific area how we can achieve the entire digital transformation. So we need to expand this across this particular MySejahtera into every other aspect of healthcare in Malaysia. So that's what I think.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the very, very insightful overview of the underlying principles, guiding principles at the moment for digital transformation. Doctor, I realize that innovation, right? The word innovation, it seems to play a key role in digital transformation, especially in a sector as dynamic as healthcare. It's keep on improving, right? So could you please elaborate on how digital transformation is shaping healthcare today? What are some of the latest innovations in healthcare that you can share, which will hopefully give all of us the spark?
All right. So we can actually look at the slides. So in the slides we have multiple fields that are evolving now in digital health innovation sector. So we have machine learning, we have AI, right? So we also have what we call as mobile health, right? So when we talk about mobile health, is basically any application which can be what we call used through any smartphone or any phone, right? So it is not based in website, right? Okay. So then we have also AI, all right? So within AI, we also have a machine learning, and the more latest one is, I think a lot of Warga KKM knows that is a generative AI. All right, that is one type of AI as well. Right. We also have Internet of Medical Things. This is same like IoTs. So Internet of Things, where the devices are able to sense things around us, and we can interact with these things through internet. All right, so that's what we call as Internet of Medical Things. Maybe we can go into details later, but these are some of the example. We can talk about telemedicine. Telemedicine is basically patients being connected through internet. The doctors are not visiting them directly, but the patients are at their home. We are looking at through consultation done through internet. We have a big data analytics. So big data analytics is basically we'll take at the bigger large scale data available, including non-medical data. For example, we have weather data and everything, and we see the pattern which forms this particular, let's say, determined for certain diseases. I can give you an example of let's say we are talking about patients with chronic lung disease. All right, we can look at the what we call pollution level in certain areas, and we can somehow see whether it's correlated into the chronic lung diseases in that particular area. So this is more to the big data analytics. We have 3D printing. 3D printing is quite exciting as well. So the 3D printing, previously, if you look at 10 years ago, it was looking at prosthetics mainly. So they are looking at prosthetic legs or even denture, right? So they are creating a lot of implant kind of settings. But we are looking into bio 3D printings currently not in Malaysia, but basically if you look at the worldwide, they are talking about developing specific organs based on genetic data, which can be customized. But at this point of time, they're not yet into the clinical phase. They are still in the preclinical testings. But it's quite exciting to look at the 3D printing element as well, because they are incorporating biological material to do the 3D printing, so which is quite exciting. We also have a blockchain. For blockchain, we actually attempted to we managed to implement that technology in Malaysia, but many people are not aware of that technology being used. For example, when we did our vaccination during COVID, the technology behind our digital vaccination certification is based on blockchain technology, which was developed by MIMOS together with KCAM during that time. So what actually it does is, because it's actually create a particular sequence in the entire change, and it is permanent there. So you can access anytime, and it can't be changed over time. All right. So it's stagnant there. So once a person have received their vaccination, the dates, type of vaccination, everything is being stored in the blockchain after verification. So subsequently, whenever we are accessing the blockchain, we can actually look at the data. It's not going to be changed over time, or nobody is going to tamper with that thing. So it's very exciting on that thing. So I think there's a lot of effort is being done in Malaysia in terms of how the technologies, especially on the digital side, but not many people are aware of what being done currently. So that's, I can give you some example later on, but this is primarily what multiple different divisions of digital health that available currently.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much again, Doctor, for the all the examples. But I'm quite interested with a new term that I think I've learned today. I'm sure my fellow colleagues who are attending this webinar will also agree with me. The Internet of Medical Things. All right. So in books, in reading materials, we have seen so many other elements of artificial intelligence, right? One of it is IoT, Internet of Things, right? But we have customized it into medical, so Internet of Medical Things. So berapa ramai antara rakan-rakan sekalian yang tahu tentang Internet of Medical Things? Cuba komen sikit, right? So, okay, yeah, Doctor, it's a very wonderful sharing, as many of us may not even, like you said, you said, the blockchain example just now, we might not even we wouldn't know this the background of the digital transformation tools that we are using. All right. So, but before we continue, all right, I think it's only fair for us to take a few minutes of break, and we will come back with more questions, and because I need some time also to collect if there are any questions from the viewers. All right, we'll come back soon.
All right, thank you.
In a world where healthcare faces unprecedented challenges, the need for innovation has never been greater. Digital transformation is reshaping how we approach healthcare, making it more efficient, accessible, and personalized. The Digital Health Research and Innovation (DHRI) unit was established in 2020 under the Institute for Clinical Research, National Institutes of Health, to drive research and innovation in digital health. The mission is clear: to lead digital health transformation, enhance the competitiveness of ICR, build robust infrastructure, develop skilled talent, and create a secure, ethical research ecosystem. The DHRI team collaborates closely to implement digital health solutions that address critical health issues, particularly at the national level. Diagnosing corneal ulcers is challenging due to limited ophthalmology services. AI Coral uses AI and machine learning for diagnosis. An image of the corneal ulcer is uploaded for AI analysis and diagnosis, with the expected outcome of accurately classifying the cause of the corneal ulcer. During the COVID pandemic, DHRI developed a cough sound artificial intelligence system for detecting COVID-19 with more than 85% accuracy. For the test, the user logs into the app, reports their cough, and receives a COVID-19 risk assessment based on AI analysis. It won first place in the Ministry of Health Innovation Award 2022 and second place in the Public Sector National Innovation Award, AINSA, 2023. Kodak My is a home monitoring system that combines biosensor technology with a mobile app, web platform, and dashboard for real-time patient monitoring. The concept has been tested on quarantined asymptomatic COVID patients, and version 2.0 is now targeting the monitoring of less severe dengue patients. Leprosy is often misdiagnosed due to its non-specific symptoms and limited access to diagnostic tests. Leper.my utilizes AI and machine learning to analyze medical images for leprosy screening. A picture of the skin lesion is taken and uploaded for AI analysis and diagnosis, with the goal of accurately distinguishing leprosy from other skin diseases. DHRI is leading the way in healthcare transformation, using cutting-edge innovations to reshape how care is delivered and improve health outcomes for all. Digital transformation is saving testing costs and time. Reducing admission rates alleviates the burden on hospitals. Telemedicine is making healthcare more accessible, bringing expert care to even the most remote locations. The use of AI and machine learning technology is revolutionizing diagnostics, enabling earlier and more accurate detection of diseases. Digital transformation is not just a trend but the future of healthcare. Our vision is to revolutionize healthcare through innovation, making advanced solutions accessible to all. The Digital Health Research and Innovation Unit is dedicated to creating a healthier future, one innovation at a time. Join us in building a healthier future through digital health innovation.
All right, welcome back everyone. Today's webinar session, the impact of digital transformation in Malaysia healthcare, with Dr. Ravi. All right. Just now, during our break, there was a video played, and someone just asked, iklan ke tu? Tu sebenarnya bukan iklan, itu adalah antara what do you call this, success stories yang kita akan bincang in a while with Dr. Ravi in detail lah. Alright, Doctor, my next apa orang kata question is can we, you know, this kind of when you talk about apa kata digital transformation and all, kan, we cannot run away from the emerging technologies, alright, which is widely talked about and used by everyone. All right, not only in Malaysia but also in worldwide lah. Worldwide. Can you share with us some of the examples of emerging technologies worldwide, so that again it will give us some spark that yes, after this we have to go all out for digital transformation.
Right. So when we talk about this particular emerging technology, so as we know, every technology will have a hype, right? So there is few documentation or few think tank and analytic groups actually look into this hype. So certain technology will have a hype, much hype, but it doesn't translate into actual implementation. So if we look at this particular slide, so we can see there's a lot of expectation in certain technologies to be making impact, but it is doesn't translate into actual practicality,
reality.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's the word.
Okay.
So for example, when we look into virtual reality in staff training, for example, so there's a high expectation on that. So using of VR technology, using of augmented reality technologies, in incorporating into actual staff training, there's much expectation. Some of it is trying to be experimented, but we are pretty sure it's high on the hype, and it might reach actual realization. All right. So, but there is certain technologies are still in early stage. For example, if we are talking about 3D bioprinting, which I mentioned before this, 3D printing, but by using organic material, there is a lot of things need to be done before we can achieve clinical practicality. For example, we need to look at the type of material being used and whether there is going to be interaction with the other organs. Is there going to be allergic reaction? So how we going to monitor the patient post transplantation? So this comes into play. So for me, emerging technologies changes over time, but we need to have a mindset of embracing new things, all right? But at the same time, because we in healthcare, we play with, we do not play, basically we interact with patient's life, a human's life. So we need to have a high level of suspicion, and we need to also have a sense of ethics when we are implementing this technology. So this is where both the technology sectors and also the healthcare actually meet. So we need the new technology, but at the same time we need to emphasize the and provide importance to the human life as well as the ethic aspect and data privacy as well.
All right.
So
okay, I mean, I'm just interested with with this slide. If you look at the rising expectations, we have, like, as you said, a lot, right? And already met, there are few, and progressing into the new future of healthcare delivery. So what are those? VR fitness trackers. Can you explain a little bit more on the future part?
All right. So I will definitely give an entire scenario of how personalized IoTs, medical devices, are being used in enhancing personal health.
Okay.
But if you look at this graph, when you look at the red dots, so red dots are actually the hype on the certain technology, but we do not expect that much of progress. So when you look at the yellow, is actually moderate progress is being expected, and the green color is actually shows green or blue. It shows actually which there is a lot of progress being achieved. So when you look at the top of the hype, right, which is the top part of the graph, you can see about the longevity research. So this is basically how as a human, we can prolong our life expectancy, and they can probably live more than 100 years. But there's not much progress is being done on that particular field. But if you look at the yellow part on top, which is about employee wellness program, all right. So this is we have quite a number of examples where the entire employee wellness program, including the mental health, including their physical health, including their lifestyle modification services, there's a lot of progress is being made currently. There's a lot of startup companies providing these services to companies where they just enroll by subscription, and individual workers' healthcare is monitored, and they are given so-called a coach, lifestyle coach, to monitor their program. So that's a lot of progress as actually is already matured to achieve a lot of progress already in that particular field. So as you see in this cycle, there's a lot of things that we can achieve. A lot of have been achieved, and I think we can go further into specific scenarios actually. All right. So if we can look at the scenario 2. All right. Okay. So when we look at this particular scenario, which is related to what Mr. Silan was asking me just now, is how this technology IOMT, or I think when we talk about devices which available in our hand currently, like smartwatches, right? So there's a lot of technical advancement behind this particular watches. So last time I think when we wore watches, it just shows time. All right. So currently it shows so many things. It can make calls. It can provide messages as well. And at the same time, it also shows a lot of health data. Okay. It can monitor heart rate. It can monitor your sleep pattern. It can even more latest smartwatches can monitor your blood pressure as well. All right. So there is few technology behind this, right? So one of the technologies, I think, if you look at the slides, we can look at this particular technology which is called as PPG, all right, graph, which is basically, to put it in a simple term, it is basically infrared being shoot into the skin. All right. So what it actually does is it actually measures the volume of the blood in that particular split seconds, right? And it actually sees how much of these infrared lights are being absorbed, and how much is being reflected back to the sensor in the watch. Right. So if you look at your watch, you will probably see the green color light, or some is red. So that is actually infrared LEDs which is being reflected through and back to your sensors. Right. So how it monitors it actually, when we're talking about blood pressures, they're talking about heart rate, there is a variation in the volumes. So when we know when the heart is pumping, the blood flow goes up and the blood vessels expand, so volume increase. And when the heart actually relax, the blood flow goes back to the heart, the diameter returns to normal. So variation in this expansion and reduction in the diameter is basically how the watch actually monitoring the your heart rate, is monitoring how your blood pressure is measured. So that is one of it, right? So this particular thing comes into a field which we call as optical or image technologies, right? So it uses these LEDs to come up with these particular things, right? So by having this, what that means to our healthcare is it can do a lot of things. So it can look into a patient with the heart problems. We can have a continuous monitoring. We can see the variation of the blood pressures over time, right? We can see also the sleep patterns for patients with mental health issues, anxiety disorder, patient with depression, how their sleep cycle changes over time. And in future, if we talk about the sensors, there's also some emerging technology which is not yet available. Is talking about continuous blood glucose monitoring. It's not yet available in the market. That actually will be a significant change in sense of chronic diseases, hypertension, your diabetics, because currently we don't have a continuous monitoring. There might be an intra-day variation between the patients, so sometimes they might have a high blood pressure in the morning, or even when they're coming to the clinic, when they're seeing the doctors, the blood pressure shoot ups. But by having this particular device at home and during their daily life, the doctors might be able to diagnose the patient more accurately, or probably provide a more personalized care to the patient. So that's actually some example of what we can do with this particular technology. So maybe we can go to the next slide. Okay, so you can see this particular devices that we have currently, it is still under the realm of wellness care. All right. So when we talk about wellness care, is basically it is not indicated for clinical use. All right. So when we talk about not for clinical use, it's yet to be regulated. All right.
You mean, for an example, this future diagnostic bag, is it? You're talking about this future diagnostic
this
bag.
is already in the clinical settings. But the watches that we are, if you look at the way they are selling to the patients or selling to the public, is basically they mention this is just for wellness, it's not for clinical use. All right. So it can be used as a guideline, but not as a definite. You must follow whatever is being provided by that particular data, right? And there was I think there's also might be a concern on the data privacy part. So data privacy part, it is actually applies to any type of applications you are downloading into your mobile phone. All right. So the companies which are providing these technologies are supposed to be adhering to international data privacy provisions. So if they not, in Malaysia we have PDPA, so they need to comply with that. So the data cannot be identified or cannot be transaction across a third party without the permission of the data owners, which is the patient themselves. So in that sense, I think it's still within the realm of wellness. It can be used as a guideline. There's a lot of clinical application on that, but that's where my unit comes into play. We do clinical validations. So whether this is particular technology can be applied in the actual real clinical practice, that's when actually we can see, and it will be regulated by MDA later on. So once it's being regulated by MDA, then only it will be used in the clinical practice. So if in Malaysia we have MDA, if we are in the US, we also need to look whether the particular device is being registered in the US and also being certified by FDA. So that's the same mechanism, right?
Doctor, in any case, what are you trying to tell us is new things are there, new things are coming, so embrace it.
Exactly.
Embrace new things. Basically, change is inevitable.
Exactly.
We have to be ready for changes. Doctor, earlier we have discussed the concept of, I mean, like you just shared with us many examples of innovation, and I'm sure this kind of examples, they are very what do you call this? It's inspirational, all right, worldwide. And you also showed some futuristic devices,
Yes.
IOMT.
Yes.
I'm using the word
Yeah,
correctly.
exactly,
Yeah?
correct.
IOMT. Are there any success stories at the moment now which mungkin kita warga KKM tak tahu lagi? I mean, we ourselves don't know yet that Malaysia is already there. Ada tak any kind of that kind of success stories that you can share?
All right. So we have one of previously what we did during COVID-19 time was actually this particular project which is we call as Kodik My, right? So this Kodik My is basically a remote patient monitoring. Asymptomatic COVID patients was sent home and to be home quarantined, right? But we need to also monitor the progress of the patient at home. We can't just send them home. Come whenever you are sick, because you see when we're talking about respiratory illness, patient can deteriorate anytime, right? Anytime patient can have a shortness of breath, they can just collapse, right?
Correct.
And sometimes because of COVID during that time, it's going to be difficult for family members to bring them to the facility as well. So we need to have some mechanism where we can safely monitor the patient at home, right? So what we did was during the project, we had a few devices, all right, which to monitor their breathing pattern, to monitor their heart rate. It is much similar to the current smartwatch, but this was previously during COVID time. So we were actually monitoring remotely from the quarantine centers, our quarantine facilities. These patients were actually discharged home, and these patients are actually asymptomatic patients, right? So they do not have that much of risk, but we can monitor they are progressing, right? So during that time, we managed to evaluate that practicalities. We think there's a huge practicality. So we have the Kodik My 2.0. So there's some program that we are trying to do currently. But the success story was we managed to do monitor patient at home through these particular devices, through this particular application from a center. So what we see in future for this kind of technology is basically certain diseases which doesn't require hospitalization, and due to our current issues with the bed in the hospitals, we can safely monitor patient at home. So patients who come to the healthcare facility, we assess their level of severity, and if the early stage, they will be at home, but we will safely monitor them, and we indicate to them to come back to the health facility for further evaluation or further admission if needed. So that's what we see through that. And there's a lot of application currently in Malaysia, but the one I can mention currently is this particular effort that been done by this particular unit.
Oh, okay. That's very, very nice to hear. Anything else?
All right. So
one more example, probably.
One more example. Okay. So I think apart from the medical devices, we also have this mobile health, right? So I think we do have some progression in this
mobile health, you mean?
Yeah, mobile health. So how we are managing healthcare through a mobile application. So how the entire patient journey is going through this mobile health. All right. So how patient can actually manage their healthcare journey through a mobile application. So if we can see in the slide, in the first slides, we can talk about this particular app which is very famous, which is MySejahtera.
Okay,
right.
MySejahtera.
So, yeah. So what we discuss is not the initial application. I think there's a lot of features currently in MySejahtera, which is quite exciting actually. All right. So when we look at this particular patient journey, all right, let's say a patient is required to do a medical examination before they go on to Haji, all right? So usually what happens is they get appointment, they get to do their medical exemption by those panels who are done, who are certified by Tabung Haji. Right, but they need to go and get an appointment for the clinic and wait for the turn. They return back for the second time to do the testing and everything, and then subsequently they do a written form, and then they bring the form to whenever they go to Tabung Haji. All right, all right. So now the whole process was managed through the application. So it was actually launched in this June, the last June. Right. So patient just required to install MySejahtera. They can book the entire appointment, the dates and everything, the details and everything is all through MySejahtera. All right. So once they have done, they still have to go physically at this point of time to the health facility to get their medical exemption done. Once they have done the medical examination, the documentation of their record, medical record, is actually available on the MySejahtera. All right. So this, when they have the medical documentation, which is in a PDF form, is available in their handphone. Whenever they go to for Haji later on, they can show this documentation there.
Okay.
Okay. So this particular application is not just available in Malaysia, but it is recognized worldwide. So it's an effort at the WHO level to coordinate this kind of inter-country travels. Right, and especially this particular kind of inter-country travel. So the documentation in our country can be verified whether it's true or not in another country.
So that's really improving business process, easier, making things easier and faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't stop there. So once the patient comes back, the routine process is we need to monitor the patient for 10 days after they come back from their Hajj. Right, so to monitor whether there is any particular disease which is in a different country, doesn't communicable disease in the other countries to not to be spread here, right? So previously, what they do is they have to come to they either come to health facility or from PKD they will go and do inspections, all right? Now the whole process is monitored through the MySejahtera. So whenever they reach back Malaysia, so there will be a post-travel monitoring which is available in the application itself. So the entire process from during their travel and the post-travel is all managed by the same application. So this is one of the success stories which is currently available in MySejahtera.
Okay.
All right. So I do actually insist that Malaysians should look again on the MySejahtera application because the functions are being added through this application.
Okay. That's MySejahtera, ladies and gentlemen and doctors sekalian. How many of us went into the MySejahtera app the last time? Macam dah lama kan? Okay, better go and check it out. Alright. Okay. Do we have? It is almost 1 hour now. It's quite interesting talking to you, Doctor. It's going to be 1 hour already. Now, time for us to take some questions from from our viewers today. What about the data production? Can KKM ensure that the data will be secured and remain confidential? I believe Doctor touched about it earlier. Probably you just want to reiterate.
All right. So actually, not just the KKM. I think government have a very strong data protection policies available now. So this particular data protection is basically, it ensures the flow from the data collection part up to the level of storage, analytics, and further on. Especially for healthcare, we are very, very sensitive on the data protection compared to other sectors, right? So because whenever we are trying out any new research projects, it goes through this ethic approval. So during the ethic approval process, we do actually emphasize on the data collection part, data storage part, and also the data privacy part. So we do not actually allow any data or personal data sharing during this whole process. So during the implementation, we do actually emphasize on these particular things, and we actually emphasize a lot on the cybersecurity at this point of time, especially in the healthcare sectors, right?
Talking about cyber security attacks, I remember that a couple of weeks ago I read somewhere in some document by one of the antivirus company. They made a survey, all right? From a survey by that company alone, all right, 26.4 million cyber attacks from that company alone. That means every hour, every day, every minute, every second, there are some kind of cyber security attacks. So, I mean, just selingan sikit lah. Just be careful on what we open, how we open, when we open on our computer and office laptops and PCs. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, someone said dah lama tak tengok My Sejahtera. They will look into it.
Yeah.
All right. Ada apa-apa soalan lagi? Tengok scroll. Tak ada. Scroll. Another question that yeah, probably, Doctor, what are the now for the past 1 hour we have talked about history. We have talked about what's happening right now. We have talked about the dream, what we want, where we want to go.
Yeah.
Now, I think we haven't talked about one thing: the challenges.
All right.
The people will always talk about stepping stone, right? I'm going to reword it: stopping stone. What are the challenges that we might or we are facing right now towards digital transformation?
All right. So first, because of the number of systems that we have, so we have different systems. We have discussed in length, right?
Probably this is just out of the blue moon, random question. How many systems do we have? I mean, not the whole government, but KKM itself. How many?
We have around 400 over systems. I think you can get more details on the Plan Digital, but we have around 400 systems.
400.
Yeah,
That's
in
a lot.
KKM alone.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
All right. So, and if these systems are actually have a different functions and different structures, because it was actually developed throughout time. Though it's not developed in one shot. We have 400. No.
Okay.
So it was done throughout the time. So it have different structures, different purposes, different type of things that it can done. Right. So now when we are moving to a transformation, we need to come up with a proper structure how we're going to combine these things. That's the first problem. All right. The second problem would be the financial problems, because now we are talking about latest technology. We are talking about computing. We are talking about AIs. We need to have a proper infrastructures. And we were talking about data privacy, for example. We need to have a enhanced security measures. We need to have a cloud computing in place. This requires a quite high investment. Right? Then we also have the mindset change that need to occur. So those who are already used to this workflows of doing paper-based, which is much faster compared to going through a system to actually do their work, they might be very reluctant in changing. So we need to show them some real life cases where it actually somehow will increase their workflow, right? So we need to show real life examples. We can't say, oh, it's going to increase your efficiency, it's going to make your life easier. When we keep on saying that without showing them a real situation, real experience, is going to be difficult to change the mindset. So these are some of the challenges that I think will be a good starting point to change this digital, to address this digital transformation in healthcare in Malaysia. So that's what I think.
Okay. Probably we can take one more question. One more, probably. All right, last one. Okay, last question will be like, no need to be so high level lah. No need to be so high level. Apa tu technology semua tak payah. Okay, now, how do you think people like me, a normal penjawat awam, how do I think, I mean in KKM of course lah, in KKM, how do you think I can adopt a digital transformation in my daily life, work life, I mean not work life.
Okay, so like for example, okay, I think you need to experience. I keep on going back to the experience part. So for you to actually promote or provide services to another person, you should experience the technology by yourself.
Okay.
All right. So one of the ways that we can do is, if you have a smartwatch, for example, just get a smartwatch. Actually, there's a lot of different price ranges now. It's becoming more affordable, and you use that particular application in your life, and then you can see how it actually changes your life. For example, if you have an application which monitors your heart rate, and you can actually realize how it actually changing your lifestyle, or sleep activity, for example. We will say, like, I have no enough, do not have enough sleep. Regardless, you are sleeping, you've been on bed for 8 hours, but you are not, you feel tired the following morning. When you actually monitor the sleep patterns, actually you can make changes. Maybe you are not enough nutrition, or you do not have a deep sleep, for example, you still feel tired. So these things can be experienced by yourself, and then you need to add on the knowledge. All right. So the knowledge, you can obtain so much of knowledge with the latest digital technology, latest innovations. True. I think YouTube's have a lot of videos. A lot of courses are being provided by for free by these tech companies as well. So you can actually enroll in this type of courses and also videos in the YouTubes. It will increase your knowledge and increase your familiarity with these technologies. So I think that would be a good starting point for our KKM staff.
Okay, wonderful. I think without knowing, quite a number of us are also using one of it. For an example, that system which calculates your number of steps.
Exactly.
Right? Number of steps. Then tell us, viewers, ada berapa orang set? Satu hari 10,000 step. Capai tak? Okay, Doctor. Thank you so much for being here today, and your explanation was fantastic. And as we can see the comment, we are all very happy with your explanation, and also your very, very valuable sharing of the history, the current situation, and the future, as well as the challenges towards making digital transformation a reality. All right. And we again thank you so much on behalf of Bahagian Pembangunan Kompetensi, and yep, thank you very much.
Thank you for Bahagian Perkembangan Kompetensi as well for giving me opportunity to share my knowledge with this audience from Warga lah. Thank you very much as well.
Okay, and viewers, thank you so much for all of you all who joined us and stayed till the end. And please do not forget to fill out your information to receive your e-certification using the link provided in the comment section of Facebook. All right. With that, signing off. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.